Bravo's reality series Below Deck follows the captain and crew of charter mega yachts in some of the most beautiful locations on the planet. But it's not all fun in the sun for the worker bees who facilitate these dream vacations for the 1%. This is the untold truth of Below Deck.
And I'm stuck below deck with no windows, no air.
Reality TV makeover. There's no doubt that the yachts on Below Deck are impressive, but the vessels and the crew may not be exactly what they seem. In 2013, co-executive producer Rebecca Taylor, who pitched the concept after working on yachts in college, told the Triton that real-life boats were renamed for the series. Season 3's Mustang Sally was renamed Eros, and Season 1's Coeur de Leon was dubbed Honor. Most of Coeur de Leon's real crew was recast, except for her captain, engineer, and first officer, who each remained on board.
I'm actually back to do this again. Surprise, bitches!
Taylor told the site, "It's almost impossible to find a real functioning crew and step on with cameras and say go. Just because you have the perfect crew doesn't mean you don't have a convicted felon or someone with anger issues who's going to punch the cameraman. All that matters to us is TV." Discount vacay. Looking to book your next luxury vacation? Below Deck producer Mark Cronin admitted in a Reddit AMA that the wealthy guests who hire out the show's luxury charters get a steep discount for appearing on camera.
Everybody get down here for the party!
Charters typically last 3 days, and according to the Thought catalogue, that tallies up to around $150,000 to $200,000. Cronin says guests get about 50% off their stay and free airfare, but they're still expected to tip on the full price. And they don't make a cent for appearing on the show. And the guests who grace Below Deck's charters aren't vetted by Bravo in advance. Cronin admitted, "Whoever's check clears the bank is on the show." The Captain's Quarters. Below Deck's resident silver fox and author of the memoir Running Against the Tide: True Tales from the Stud of the Sea, Captain Lee Rosbach told Fox News that almost all yacht captains have been propositioned several times in their careers. But Rosbach revealed his pro strategies, saying, "Never be alone with a female guest in any situation that isn't public. Specifically avoid their cabins."
Without a doubt, I still have the best damn job in the world.
But sometimes it's an offer you can't refuse. The Old Mob and the Sea. If you're into picking up mobsters, sugar daddies, and famous actors, you might want to get on board with yachting. Chief Stew Hannah Ferrier admitted on Watch What Happens Live,
So I had a charter guest from the Russian mafia once request a little bit more than a bed turned down.
But that wasn't the first time a wealthy passenger made a pass at one of Below Deck's hardworking women.
There's only so many times you can go without wanting to blow your brains out.
Stewardess Brooke Lawton admitted that an attractive A-list actor asked her to get cozy in the hot tub. She told the Daily Mail that she declined because she wanted to remain professional.
Why would you spill a drink all over yourself?
I think he wants to have sex with me, but he can't.
A Real Housewives crossover? Thanks to a report from People, we know the Real Housewives of New York were left fearing for their lives after a traumatic boat ride in Colombia. But that doesn't mean the ladies don't enjoy a good yacht outing.
Isn't it amazing how we go on these trips and we're all up and weird, and then we end up somehow bonding? What is that all about?
Still, Bravo straight up robbed us of a Below Deck Housewives crossover episode. Below Deck's Chief Stew, Kate Chastain, was apparently working on a yacht parked in Sag Harbor, New York, when Ramona Singer allegedly invited herself on board after a wine-filled day of filming.
I'm feeling really great tonight, and I don't need a man to dance. I can dance all by myself.
But although that crossover may have escaped us, there's still hope for another Bravo reality series. In August 2018, Southern Charm star Patricia Altschul hit up Captain Lee Rosbach on Twitter about chartering his boat. Lee agreed, and Chastain says she's already planning the theme parties. Swiped to the left. Though there are plenty of perks to being a yachty, a glamorous dating life apparently isn't one of them.
I think there can definitely be some issues with dating on board, but
I've got some pep in my step, so for now, it's all good.
But praise the reality gods for bringing the cast together, because if they didn't hook up with their fellow crew members, they might not otherwise be able to find a date.
When it comes to your emotional experiences, I don't want it to come up those stairs.
Outside of the so-called boatmances featured on the shows, Ferrier told Forbes that it's easier for male crew members because girls don't get scared off. Men in Europe apparently think reality fame is trashy, and needless to say, the women of Below Deck are used to being swiped left. Literally.
I would like to leave this charter season with no major regrets.
Ferrier and Chastain spoke about their Tinder and Bumble habits on the latter's podcast After Deck with Kate Chastain. Though they're both avid users of dating apps, Ferrier admitted she's dating against her type, while Chastain copped to being a straight-up catfish. Her main photo is of Rachel Zoe. She confessed, "I put my first name and then I put photos that aren't me, but they could be." Jumping ship. The cast of Below Deck are not immune to getting fired, and no one wants to be on the receiving end of one of Captain Lee Rosbach's disappointed gazes. When it comes to handing out plane tickets to underperforming staff, Reality Blurred reported that the captain definitely has some authority, even if Bravo helped curate the crew.
I'm ready to fire you and Hannah.
For what exactly?
You have been
According to Cronin, getting fired or quitting mid-season is pretty common in the industry. He admitted via Reddit, "Yachties tend to jump ship if they're not happy. They are people who don't appreciate being tied down. Most of them don't even have a proper address on land." Still, that doesn't mean Below Deck's captains aren't a little bit lenient at times. Drama makes for good TV, and poorly performing staff make for good drama.
I'd be surprised if we got through it without a casualty or two. Damn it! Nature of the beast.
Rosbach admitted that Season 1's crew got a little more leeway than they deserved, telling the Triton, "They pretty much acted like crew I would have fired." The producers of the show wanted to show the long hours and the stress of yachting, but most of that was caused by the crew being inept. Are they qualified to do this? Bravo may handpick the crew, but that certainly doesn't mean they're actors playing a role. Yet while some crew members are overwhelmingly qualified, some truly lack experience. Co-executive producer Rebecca Taylor told The Triton, "There's a mix of professional crew and young, transient people. It's a really interesting subculture, and when you learn about it, you wonder, how does everybody not do this?" But apparently lying on your resume like stewardess Casey Cohen did isn't all that uncommon.
I gave my resume to a friend back home who's in yachting to polish it. I barely looked at it, honestly.
Regardless, the staff do have to train for safety prior to boarding Below Deck's mega yacht. Captain Rosbach told Reality Blurred that they take a 2-week course that includes basic first aid and firefighting to get their STCW certification, which is required to work on a yacht. Drama fit for reality TV. From Teresa Giudice's iconic attempt at flipping a table on The Real Housewives of New Jersey to the various cheating scandals among the cast of Vanderpump Rules, Bravo has a knack for creating hit reality TV drama. But on Below Deck, the drama seems to write itself.
Sorry you're mad about that, but don't take it out on me. All of a sudden you're like, oh Malia, this is how you flick the chain. Oh Malia, this is how you do this.
But apparently the drama we see on Below Deck doesn't hold a candle to what happens when Bravo packs up and heads home. Bobby Giancola told Forbes, "I think if they wanted some real drama on the show, they should film it for 7 or 8 weeks. That's when everything starts boiling over." But according to Ferrier, filming those weeks would be, quote, "the worst idea ever."
Guys, where did that all come from?
It came from the sea, darling.